and it's a pleasure to be with you. My name's Ted Abernathy, and I've had the pleasure of working with the Missouri Chamber on their 2030 effort since the beginning, about 5 years ago. One of the goals, one of the drivers of 2030 is to keep the business community informed, to help unite the business community around real economic data. We thought we'd try something new this year and provide you regular updates, video updates, highlighting how Missouri is doing economically. So what we're going to do is show you some slides, and we'll provide these to you on a regular basis. Well, the first one, as you can see, nationally, we're at the longest continuous expansion of employment growth that the country's ever seen. It's 112 straight months now of private sector employment growth. We've never been anywhere near this. And GDP growth is also at its highlight. It's never been this good for this long. Unemployment has followed that. It has come down since its peak in 2010 when the country was at double-digit unemployment. Now sits at 3.6%. It's also a 50-year low of unemployment. And for the state of Missouri, it's consistently been below the national average and remains there at 3.3%. That's as of December of 2019. As you can see on this slide, this measures the annual growth in employment, first for the United States and then for Missouri. Coming out of the recession, Missouri has lagged the United States growth, as has much of the Midwest. And as you can see in the last year or so, there's been a little bit of a gap in growth also. I think that unemployment has a lot to do with that. There's a low labor pool in Missouri, and Missouri has not been attracting as many people to move to the state, making it difficult to gain employment. And as you can see, it's above zero, so we're still adding jobs, but there aren't a lot of new people in the state to take those jobs. If you look at all 50 states, what you see is even though there's a national economy of growing at 1.4% job growth, for the states it's all over the place. We have states that are in negative numbers, losing jobs. We have states that are growing at over 3%. And as you can see, Missouri's overall growth rate is 0.7%. So it's below the national average by about half. And when we look at it more specifically, you can see why. The state has exceeded the national average in jobs in construction and jobs in finance, but lags in manufacturing, where there's been zero growth. There's actually been a loss of jobs in the trade, transport, and utility sector and the professional and business service sector. That's a particularly troubling sector because it's been so strong in growth nationally, but has not been as strong in Missouri. We also lag the country in education services and health services and travel and leisure. So there's room for growth in those areas, but it does take employees to be able to do that. When you look at the metros inside the state of Missouri, you can see that the state is led by Kansas City and St. Louis, but has metros St. Joe's, Jefferson City, and others that are losing jobs. So it's uneven nationally, and it's uneven across the state of Missouri. When you look at our neighbors, these are the neighboring states around us. You can see that nationally, again, 1.4%, and Missouri at 0.7%. That's the same as Kentucky. Iowa and Oklahoma actually lost jobs over the last 12 months. So Missouri's in sort of the middle of the pack there. When we started Missouri 2030, we use these numbers pretty liberally. I think Dan is quoted regularly as talking about where the state ranks. And as you can see, over the last year, the state did really well, much better than it has in the past in both GDP growth, the whole economy, and wage growth. In fact, 14th in wage growth, first time we cracked the top 15 in something. But job growth was 47th, and part of that is just a lack of labor. There is not a lot of people on the sidelines out there who can fill those jobs. So attracting new people to Missouri becomes a key in trying to raise those numbers. Overall, the 5-year numbers have moved up significantly. And as you can see, the 10-year numbers now are better than they were when we started 2030. Gross domestic product measures the whole economy, and as you can see here, Missouri's done better than most of the other states surrounding. So 2.3% growth is not as high as the U.S. growth. Only Tennessee is that high in the Midwest, but 2.3 is significantly higher than many of our neighbors. And when you look at a map of the whole United States, the gray states are the ones that are growing at a slower rate than Missouri. Missouri there in the middle in red. As you can see, the only state that touches Missouri that actually has faster economic growth is Tennessee. But the whole Midwest has lagged behind parts of the South and the West. One of the trends that we've seen is that a lot of the movement has been from the South to the West over the last few years. And you see a lot of strong growth in all those blue states in the West. We'll keep looking at data over the next few months. We'll come back to you each time we do this. We're going to try to highlight a specific part, maybe technology jobs, maybe a specific sector, or maybe looking a little more granularly at the counties in Missouri. But we hope this is helpful to you, and we'll try to provide it regularly. Thanks for being with us today.